We've heard a lot about the mental health pressures that come on people who are trapped in these properties. Rachel Hopkins, do you want to explore this?
Yes, thanks, Chair. So the committee has called for improved mental health support in its report by those affected by the crisis back in April 2021, and it's something I've tried to raise with the Secretary of State and as the bill passed through committee, because having spoken both to constituents in Luton South and heard lots of testimony through the course of the bill, it's such an issue. So it's basically over the last 9 months, how has the support for leaseholders in the crisis, support for their mental health, has it improved at all?
I'd say no, it's not improved in the last 9 months. Leaseholders generally depend on each other for support. Last night a lady emailed me and said she'd been caught in the fire at New Providence Wharf, and she'd had no option but to wait on the balcony because the flat was smoke locked until the firefighters were able to come and bring her a smoke hood and a canister of oxygen. And I can't imagine what that must have been like. And she's had, she wrote and told me she'd had no support at all. And that's obviously an extreme example, but I mean, it's inhumane to keep people in the condition they've been kept in. Will you have a bill you can't pay? Will you not have a bill you can't pay? Can you pay the waking watch this month? Can you cover the insurance? And it's I think in a fair world, in a reasonable world, those would be costs for which leaseholders would be compensated. I'd hope that a reasonable government would be able to do something about that.
Thank you. Anyone else want to comment?
Yes, I will actually. First of all, I'll endorse every word that Liam has just said there. I think that's absolutely spot on. But we have I could give you the same answer from a different perspective, which is that property managers are well aware of the suffering that leaseholders are going through. We work with and liaise with the cladding groups on a regular basis. We see the stresses and strains, but we see the stresses and strains also coming through our front line, which is our property managers on the ground. And when they are looking after deeply unhappy customers, often they are the messengers that get shot when they're sending the bills, when they're sending those waking watch bills, when they're having to report the insurance hikes, when they're having to say, well, it looks like you've got funding, but we still haven't got the funding through from the application. Good news, we've got money for the cladding, but we haven't got money for the non-cladding fire risk. So we'd still like another £25,000 from you. They are presenting huge, massive bills and delays to people who are suffering very greatly. And the consequence of that is that the relationship between the customer and the messenger can get very strained. Nobody wants to hear about property managers bleating because the conversation is all about leaseholders, and it should be all about leaseholders. They are the ones that are badly wronged here. But if I tell you that in a mental health survey of property managers, they are now in the bottom 17% of the UK population, benchmarked against ONS survey, on the life is worthwhile score, you can see that actually the whole system here is breaking down. There is stress and there is strain across the piece, and this crisis needs to come to an end, and it needs to come to an end fast.
Thank you, Andrew, for that other perspective. Appreciate that. Thank you, Chair.
Okay. Thank you.